Hello everyone! Sorry about the long delay between videos. This year has been a bit hectic. Today I want us to talk about something a little different than a lot of my previous videos. Video games. Specifically, what is a video game? How do we define them? And how do they overlap with things like puzzles and art? Even more specifically, we're going to be talking about Gone Home and Meow Wolf's House of Eternal Return. So, a little background. I'm not a huge gamer. I tend to stick to Nintendo games, especially Pokemon and party games. Games that are heavily story-based, like Mass Effect, and weird little indie titles like Tacoma and Firewatch. So I have a pretty loose definition about what makes a video game compared to more serious gamers. Let's talk definitions real fast. In the broadest terms, a game is a structured form of play. It is a form of play that has some kind of rules to it. So while playing with your stuffed animals is just play, there's no incorrect way to do it, things like hide and seek and checkers are games, as there are simple rules that govern how you play. This can get tricky with things like puzzles, since there are technically ways in which you could interact with a puzzle incorrectly. Throwing all the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle on the ground isn't correct, but most of us wouldn't consider it a game regardless. In a related point, sports are an even more structured form of games. They are games that involve competition and physical activity, mostly. Esports makes this iffy. Video games are most broadly defined as games that use electronic and visual interfaces to function. They can be on consoles, computers, arcade cabinets, even phones. Now, of course, not all electronic visual interfaces are games. Microsoft Word isn't a game. Facebook isn't a game. YouTube isn't a game. But what about something like Gone Home? Note, I'm going to talk about Gone Home for a little bit, and I will do my best to describe it without many spoilers. Released in 2013 and set in 1995, Gone Home is a first-person exploration game. Put a pin in the word game. We'll come back to it. Your character has been studying overseas for a year. While you were gone, your family has moved into a new house, one that your great-uncle used to own before he died. When you arrive in the middle of the night, no one is home. You then explore the house, reading journals and letters, looking at objects, trying to piece together what has happened. In some truly first-rate environmental storytelling, you piece together what has happened in the year you were gone and why your family isn't home now. Is this a game? In a lot of ways, it doesn't feel like a game. There's no real puzzles to solve, no bad guys, no monsters, no platforming or story decisions. You just walk around a house, look at stuff, and do some inferencing. You finish the game when you've been through the whole house and found the final clues. But there's nothing to track your progress, no achievements or collectibles. The only thing forcing some linear structure on the experience is a few padlock codes you have to find to move deeper into the house. So, is Gone Home structured enough for us to call it a video game? A video game rather than a puzzle or art or like interactive story experience? I think most people would say yes, though it's kind of an odd, artsy video game. The fact that you have to obey the programming, that you're interacting with the world in ways the programmers allow, is a structure, though a fairly weak one compared to most video games, all things considered. You can't, like, leave the house, or fly, or start hunting ghosts. You can only finish the game by working through the whole story. Most people would look at the keyboard or the controller interface and say, oh yeah, this is a video game. Wikipedia even refers to this as an exploration video game, and categorizes it as a subset of adventure games, for whatever that's worth. However, this brings me to a weird point of comparison. Meow Wolf's House of Eternal Return. Background. Meow Wolf is an art collective of 200 artists based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In 2016, with funding provided primarily by Game of Thrones author G.R.R. Martin, they created what is called the House of Eternal Return in Santa Fe. It's a permanent art installation experience, put a pin in that description, we'll come back to it. How it works is simple. After you pay, and definitely throw down the extra $1 for the color-enhancing glasses, you watch a short video about how the people in the house you are about to enter disappeared. Very spooky. You go through a door, and there is a whole house inside this giant space. Inside the house, things seem pretty normal at first. There's a story hidden in the objects, though. Journals, emails, books, diaries, letters pinned to the fridge, videos on the TV, all piece together what happened to this family and where they have gone. In as few spoilers as possible, the grandfather, uncle, and young son of the family have been experimenting with portals to other dimensions and stuff. It goes poorly. The full story is much more complicated and interesting, but it's more fun to discover it on your own. As you move through the house, there are places where you can seemingly enter these portals. A secret garden under the stairs, a passage through the fireplace, a hallway inside the fridge, a slide out of the washer. Beyond the house is a twisting, trippy maze of electronic art that you can spend hours in. And this is where those color-enhancing glasses are really worth it. So, when my husband and I went into the House of Eternal Return, we quickly thought, holy crumbs, this is like a real-life version of Gone Home. The environmental storytelling, piecing together the events of a missing family by finding clues left in the house, the very loose and mostly non-linear structure of how you discover the clues, all of it. So, if Gone Home is a video game, is Meow Wolf's House of Eternal Return a game? Like chess, or hide-and-seek, or D&D. This is where it breaks down for me a little. My first instinct is to call this installation art, but its similarities to Gone Home are really strong. I would argue that Meow Wolf has far less structure on this experience, though. While all you can really do in Gone Home is move around the space and discover the story because of the programming, in Meow Wolf, discovering the story is far more optional. Many of the people there, especially the ones with small children, seem to move through the house very quickly, not stopping and inspecting letters and emails and journals, so they and their children could play in the electronic portals section, which is super fun, but they didn't spend any time figuring out the story the way that you would in Gone Home. So, is this a game, but the game aspect is optional? Is it a game and those people and their 3-year-olds were just playing it wrong? Is it not a game at all, but just weird, trippy art with a loose narrative so all the pieces fit together? And does our evaluation of Meow Wolf make us re-evaluate how we feel about Gone Home, and other games like it, such as Tacoma, Firewatch, and the Stanley Parable? Maybe? I don't particularly have an answer to that, so I'm actually excited to hear all of y'all's thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for listening to this queer millennial feminist rant about things I like for a few minutes. If you want to be notified when I make more videos like these, you know the drill, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this question about video games and games versus kind of art and experiences down in the comments.